The night was colder than usual, and the wooden cabin felt like it was breathing fear. Harriet sat silently in the corner, her body aching from another long day of forced labor. Her hands were rough, her skin marked by years of punishment, but her eyes were different tonight. There was something burning inside them that had never been there before. Outside, the faint sound of guards moving between the cabins made her freeze. One wrong move, one sound, and everything would be over. She had seen what happened to people who tried to escape, some never returned, others returned broken. But staying here felt like a slow death anyway. Her heart was racing so hard she thought it might give her away. She pressed her hand against her mouth to silence her breathing. In that moment, she realized something terrifying and powerful. If she stayed, nothing would ever change. The chains would not just hold her body, they would destroy her soul. Slowly, she looked toward the small crack in the wooden wall where moonlight slipped in. It felt like the only piece of freedom she had ever seen. Her mind whispered one dangerous thought again and again: tonight is the only chance. The moment she decided, time seemed to slow down. Harriet carefully rose from the floor, each movement controlled, silent, almost like her life depended on not being seen, because it did. Outside, the night was thick and dark, but it was also alive with danger. Every creak of wood, every distant bark of a dog felt like a warning meant only for her. She stepped out of the cabin, barefoot on the cold ground. The earth felt sharp under her feet, but she didn't stop. Her eyes scanned the shadows where guards usually walked. Lantern light flickered far away, moving slowly like searching eyes. She waited, counted the seconds, then moved when the light turned away. Her first steps into the forest felt like crossing into another world. The trees were tall and silent, almost watching her. Behind her, the plantation was still awake with its cruel order, but ahead, there was nothing. No path, no guide, only darkness and uncertainty. Yet she kept going, pushing through branches that scratched her skin, mud that tried to pull her down, and fear that screamed in her mind to turn back. Then came the sound that made her blood freeze, the distant barking of dogs. Louder, closer, as if the night itself had betrayed her. Harriet stopped, holding her breath so hard her chest hurt. For a moment, everything depended on silence. Even her heartbeat felt too loud. But she didn't run blindly. She waited for the right moment, then moved deeper into the swampy forest, where even the dogs struggled to follow. Every step was a battle between fear and hope. And even though her body was breaking, something stronger inside her kept whispering one word: freedom. After what felt like an endless journey through darkness, Harriet finally crossed into a place where the air felt different, lighter, quieter, almost unreal. There were no guards shouting orders, no chains, no barking dogs chasing her every step. Just silence, and the strange feeling that she was still not sure if she was truly safe. When she realized she had made it to the north, her legs almost gave out beneath her. She had survived something that was supposed to break her. For the first time in her life, she could stand without fear of being whipped, sold, or forced. She could breathe without waiting for punishment. That realization hit her harder than the journey itself. But freedom did not feel like victory. It felt like emptiness. Because when she looked around, there was no family beside her. No familiar faces. No one she had grown up with. The relief of escape was quickly replaced by a heavy pain in her chest. At night, she could not sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the people she left behind, still trapped, still suffering, still calling for help she could no longer ignore. She tried to convince herself that she should rest, that she had already survived enough. But deep inside, something refused to let her forget. Freedom for herself felt incomplete when so many others were still in chains. And slowly, that pain turned into a decision that would change everything. People around her believed she had already escaped the worst life could offer. They told her to stay hidden, to build a new life, to never look back. "You are free now," they said. "Don't go back there. You won't survive a second time." But Harriet could not forget what she had left behind. Every quiet moment felt like a voice calling her back into the darkness. She knew the danger too well, she had lived it. She knew what awaited her if she returned: capture, punishment, maybe even death. Yet the thought of doing nothing felt heavier than fear itself. So she made a decision that no one understood. She went back. Under the cover of night, she crossed borders again, stepping into the same land she had risked everything to escape. But this time, she was not running for herself, she was running for others. Moving carefully through secret routes, hiding in shadows, trusting whispers more than maps, she began guiding enslaved people toward freedom. Each journey was more dangerous than the last. Every time she returned, the risk grew greater. News of her escape spread, and the land she once fled became a hunting ground for her capture. But still, she did not stop. In silence and courage, she became something more than a survivor. She became a guide through the darkness, leading others step by step out of the same nightmare she once escaped. And with every life she helped save, the risk to her own life doubled, yet so did her determination. With every mission she completed, Harriet became more than just a runaway slave, she became a symbol of something no one expected to rise from such darkness. Her name began to travel in whispers first, spoken carefully by those still in chains. Then those whispers turned into hope. And hope turned into courage. Bounties were placed on her head. Posters spread across towns describing her as dangerous, a threat to the system. Soldiers and slave catchers searched for her through forests, rivers, and hidden routes. They believed fear would stop her. They believed pressure would force her to disappear. But Harriet did not disappear. Instead, she returned again and again. Each journey was more precise, more daring, more impossible than the last. She guided groups of enslaved people through secret paths, using nights as cover and stars as her only map. Sometimes the journeys were silent, filled only with the sound of footsteps and breathing held back by fear. Other times, they were chaos, close escapes where one mistake could end everything. And yet, she never lost a single person she was leading. That fact alone made her legend grow even stronger. Dozens became hundreds. Families reunited. Chains broken. Lives rewritten. The woman who once escaped alone was now responsible for pulling others out of the same darkness she had survived. But behind every success was danger closing in tighter. One capture could end everything. One betrayal could erase her work. Still, she kept going, because she understood something deeper than fear. Freedom meant nothing if it was only for one person. In the end, she didn't just escape slavery. She challenged it, weakened it, and defied it again and again until her courage became stronger than the system that tried to break her. And that is how her name stopped belonging to history, and became a part of it forever. True freedom is not just escaping slavery, it is having the courage to risk everything so others can be free too.